So what's going on, guys? It's TMD13 back again, and this is my Monaco and Azerbaijan GP video. Now, first off the bat, the reason that these videos are being put together is for anyone who doesn't know, I'm normally refereeing when the races are on, or I'm out coaching or something, and for some reason, the Channel 4 highlights of Monaco weren't on Channel 4 when I sat down to watch them. So obviously I ended up watching the much shorter highlights. And by the time I'd done all this, it was already Sunday and the race was already going on. And again, I was busy. So obviously for Monaco, Verstappen wins after Leclerc has a gearbox failure on his way to the grid after his crash in quali. Heartbreaking for Leclerc, a guy I've got a lot of time for, like one of the nicest drivers on the thing, and you could just hear in his voice how gutted he was. Lewis finishes a lowly 7th. It's just the Mercedes really struggling around the tight twist or tight streets in Monaco. Bottas was forced to retire after a wheel nut would not come off his car, and it was removed 2 days later, and is jokingly being referred to as the longest pit stop ever, although somehow still quicker than Haas. In slightly sadder news, Max Mosley passed away, who was a very polarising figure within Formula 1. Obviously did a lot of good for the sport, but was also disliked by some areas. And Moto3, there was a young driver called Jason. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his surname because I don't want to dishonour him. Who was killed in a crash. So my thoughts go out to his friends and family at this difficult time. Yeah, it's no one. It just shows how dangerous motorsport can be. But to be fair, it's always shocking. Anyway, on to my notes for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. The flexi wing debate has gone on, as teams are now being issued with 6 stickers on the rear wing that track flexibility. Qualifying was an absolute madness. Giovinazzi crashed in... Stroll crashes in Q1 in turn 15, causing the red flag after he sort of locks up, tried to turn it and just hit the wall. When they restarted, Giovinazzi crashed again out of 15. Ricciardo crashes out of Q2, bringing out a 3rd red flag after locking up into turn 3. And because of this red flag, Vettel was out in Q2 by 0.03 of a second. Sainz and Tsunoda both crashed out. Tsunoda, I think it was turn 15. And then Sainz just tried to brake, locked up and just spun it. And because of this, Leclerc gets his 2nd pole position in a row, with Lewis 2nd, Max 3rd. Lando Norris was given a 3-place grid drop for red flag infringements, which, to be honest, was ever so slightly unfair, due to he wasn't exactly going full send from what the footage I've seen, but again, I'm not the FIA. And into the race itself, your top 3 was Sergio Perez in the Red Bull, Sebastian Vettel in the Aston Martin, and Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri. Max Verstappen was leading but lost it after a rear tyre failure, which led to a red flag and a 5-lap sprint to the end. And it looked for everything that Lewis was going to close the championship gap. But there's a special button on the Mercedes steering wheel that allows him to move the brake bias fully forward to heat the front brakes up in the front tyres. And obviously, what he's done is he's caught the button, and by all accounts, he's just gone steaming off at turn 1, locked up completely. Was dropped down to 15th. But obviously we had an instance as well where Lance Stroll had a tyre failure. So that's Verstappen and Stroll looking like. It was certainly interesting. Like, I mean, from what I saw, because obviously I wasn't in it. But when Stroll's tyre gave up, it was a tyre failure at 180 miles an hour down the straight, which is absolutely terrifying. And Vettel was your driver of the day, which I think, to be honest with you, Vettel gets a hell of a lot of backlash for how he was at Red Bull, and he was an arrogant twat. I think his 3 years at Ferrari, I feel really sorry for him that it didn't go where he wanted. Like, yeah, I'm glad that it's finally starting to work out, because it's not been the best start at Aston Martin for him. But to see him on the podium, to see Checo win as well, I'm buzzing to see Checo. So for Checo to win, Vettel second, and even Gasly third, that's a fantastic podium. And the funniest thing was, all 3 drivers have been kicked out of their former teams, or have raced for one of the teams on the podium. So, obviously, Perez used to race for Aston Martin, which was Racing Point. Vettel used to race for Red Bull, and Gasly also used to race for Red Bull. And obviously, Vettel drove for AlphaTauri back in the day, or Toro Rosso as they were then, which was a lovely novelty. But one question that is being bandied about is Lewis, or are Lewis and Max starting to crack under the pressure? No. Mercedes' car is not built for street circuits. It's not. It's a longer wheelbase car, and it just isn't as good around street circuits. We're back to a proper circuit next week, or this week, I should. Is it this week or next week? I believe the next Grand Prix is France anyway, which is brilliant, because obviously Romain Grosjean's coming back, and I think we will see Mercedes return to relative dominance. Overall, though, I'm obviously, I didn't see the race, and by all accounts, it was an absolute bore fest until the safety car and so on. But my prediction for France, if that is indeed the next Grand Prix, no doubt someone will yell at me in the comments if I'm wrong. I'm going to go Lewis on pole, Max second, and Lando third. Bottas fourth, and Perez fifth. And as for the race, I'm going to go Lewis. Lewis, Lando, Max, Daniel Ricciardo, and Checo. So Perez. And just as I'm recording this, there has been some breaking news come out on the F1 website, so we shall have a look. Something to do with Williams. Okay, so the restructuring of Williams following the arrival of Dorilton Capital. Continues with news that Simon Roberts will leave the F1 team as CEO. Jost Capito absorbs his team principal roles. So the team principal of Williams has gone. He joined Williams last June. He was acting team principal when the Williams team obviously sold the team last August. He was made permanent before Christmas. So yeah, the Williams CEO is gone. There was also some controversy between the Haas drivers as well, as a surprise. Nikita Mazepin and Mick Schumacher. I believe Mick Schumacher overtook Mazepin on the final lap and really was not happy. I don't know the full reason behind that. I'll look into it before the next video. But overall, solid race. I'd say a solid 7 out of 10. But yeah, that's this video, guys. Thanks for watching. And I will see you for the next one in France, hopefully. So